Hi, welcome to Talking the Secret Doctrine. My name is Dr. Don Franklin Shepherd, and today we will be looking at pages 4 and 5 in the first volume of the Secret Doctrine. For those who are new to the channel, we are using the verbatim edition published by Theosophical University Press out of Pasadena, California. Previously, I've discussed how the immaculate white disk is the first logos, the dull black ground is the second logos, and the central point is the third logos on page 1 in the first volume of the Secret Doctrine. Let us now take a look to see how H.P. Blavatsky encodes these three logoi into symbols on page 4 and 5. Down at the very bottom, we see a number of symbols. Let us examine those. She writes in the last paragraph on page 4, the first illustration being a plain disk. The plain disk is the immaculate white disk. It is the first logos. She continues. The second one in the archaic symbol shows, and there she has a disk with a point in it. Now we must remember that this point in the disk is either potential or active, and this is key. And throughout the Secret Doctrine, she may be referring to the central point, but she may be referring to it in a potential state, or she may be referring to it in an active state. One has to keep this clear, or confusion can arise. And she continues, the first differentiation in the periodical manifestations of the ever-eternal nature, sexless and infinite, a deity in that. The point in the disk, or potential space, with an abstract space. Now the deity in that is Mula Prakriti. So we're dealing with the second logos. And this Mula Prakriti is in that, meaning that it's the underbelly of the immaculate white disk, the first logos. But she continues to say that there's this point in the disk or potential space. This is the central point in its potential aspect with an abstract space. This is a deity in that, or Mula Prakriti. So what she's saying is that this third logos in its potential nature exists within the second logos. And let's continue. She then writes, in its third stage, the point is transformed into a diameter, thus a circle with a line through it going horizontally. In the same way that the central point has a potential and an active aspect, Mula Prakriti is also potential and an active aspect. So when we see that horizontal line, we have to also understand it potentially and actively. When it's potential, it's Mula Prakriti. It's a deity in that. However, in the next sentence, we understand what happens to the horizontal line when it becomes active. H.P. Blavatsky writes, it now symbolizes a divine immaculate mother nature within the all-embracing absolute infinitude. When that horizontal line becomes active, it drops from being Mula Prakriti as the second logos to being Prakriti as the third logos. One can view it in this way, in a very general manner. The first logos is Parabrahman Mula Prakriti. The second logos is Brahman Pradhana. The third logos is Purush Prakriti. Therefore, what we have here is we have a deity in that being the second logos, and perhaps even the first logos. But ultimately, we have that potentiality becoming active, and so we have Parabrahman Mula Prakriti transforming into Purusha Prakriti by time we view that horizontal line actively. So let's move to page 5. She writes, when the diameter line is crossed by a vertical one, so here we have a circle with a cross in it, it becomes the mundane cross. Now, this is a symbol of tenfold nature. The circle is the great breath. The circle symbolizes here the first, the second, and the third logos. Now, that horizontal line was originally potential, but it's now become active. That means it's transforming as the great breath from the first and second logos into the third logos, into the combination of Purush Prakriti. So it becomes the mundane cross because the first three logoi are now operating through the sevenfold mundane egg. We have a tenfold code here. The three, the great breath, the seven, the mundane egg. She continues, humanity has reached its third root race. The reason she says this is the third root race symbolizes that circle with the line going horizontally through it in an active manner. And this symbol will then hold the vertical line of the next four stages of evolution within it. That is, the third root race contains the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, and the seventh root race within it. She continues, it is a sign for the origin of human life to begin. This is because H.P. Blavatsky is starting the origin of human life with the third and the fourth root races, or the third and the fourth stages of evolution. She continues, when the circumference disappears and leaves only the cross, without the circle, it is a sign that the fall of man into matter is accomplished and the fourth race begins. So she's taken away the circle. She's only leaving the horizontal line, which is now active, and she's now leaving the vertical line, symbolizing the beginning of the fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh root races. The cross within a circle symbolizes pure pantheism. This is because the circle, being the immaculate white disc, the dull black ground, and the central point, that central point touches, it tinctures the highest stage of the mundane egg and then departs. But the great breath is within the sevenfold mundane egg. And this is why she describes that symbol of the circle and the cross in terms of pure pantheism. She continues, when the cross was left uninscribed, it became phallic. It became phallic because the horizontal line was now bisected by the vertical line. Because we now have Immaculate Mother Nature being bisected by the phallic symbol, male and female combined. It had the same and yet other meanings as a Tao inscribed within a circle, or as a Thor's hammer, the Jane cross, so called, or simply a swastika within a circle. This swastika is often referred to as Brahman, whether we interchangeably see Brahman as the first logos united with Parabrahman, or the second logos united with Pradhana, and ultimately producing the third logos as this combination of Purusha Prakriti. All right, I hope that helps you all understand how the immaculate white disc, the dull black ground, and the central point are encoded into the symbols in the Secret Doctrine on pages 4 and 5 in the first volume. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next time.